episode 7 of See It Like Strev. We're talking about week 8 in the CFL. First, let's address the background. We're adding trees every single week. So last week we had the one plant. We've got a full-blown tree. I think we might need to get like a plant sponsor to just go ahead and build a whole jungle behind me. So if there's any botanists out there watching this, big plant people, shoot me a message. Let's add a couple plants to the background. Let's get a little crazy here. All right, we're talking about CFL Week 8. This past week, I was up in Winnipeg doing some work with CJOB. I got some awesome reps, got the awesome opportunity to do some pre- and post-game with them, was on the sideline for the game, was an in-game analyst. That's a new experience for me. I'm stacking reps. I'm building. Y'all know I want to get into broadcasting. I want to stay around the CFL. It was an awesome opportunity. DT, Doug Brown, thank you guys for the opportunity. I'll be back up there August 14th, calling their game at home against Ottawa. Reason I love doing this, guys, you know this. I love sharing my knowledge, my energy for this game. I love this league, and I am so excited and thankful for all the support that you guys have given me. If you guys are liking this, man, just like, comment, subscribe, all this stuff. You know I try to get back to all you guys' comments. I genuinely love interacting with the fans in the CFL. That's one of the best things about this league is how accessible the players and the fans are. So keep those comments coming, subscribe, share this with people. I appreciate all you guys' support. All right, enough about that. Let's get into this game. These past week's slate of games, because it was some awesome games. And we started it off hot on Thursday night. Edmonton going to Sask on the road. Edmonton pulls it out 36-54, a 58-yard walk-off field goal at the end. This was the game of the year. It just felt like every time a play needed to get made, they were able to do it. Sask was making plays, Edmonton was making plays, and it just felt like it was coming down to whoever had the ball last at the end of the game. I think it's clear at this point in the season, these are the two best teams in the West, and very clearly two of the best teams in the league. And Edmonton, I got to be honest, I've had them in my top 3 in the power rankings, but they showed me something different. They showed me something different on Thursday. I've liked them, but now I think they're a legit threat to go ahead and win the Grey Cup, because what they do is they just find different ways to win games. Early in the year, you're seeing Justin Rankin going stupid. Last week, their defense forces 5 takeaways versus BC when their offense isn't necessarily rolling. They pull that one out. This week, Justin Rankin held, I think, 39 yards on the ground. Cody Fajardo shows up, 78% completion, goes for 5-10 and 4 touchdowns. Offensive shootout, and Edmonton pulls it out. To me, they are a legit contender to win the West and go out and compete for a Grey Cup championship. Let's talk about the 57-yard field goal from Blanchard. I think that was a record, or at least a recent record for a walk-off field goal from a kicker. What a clutch kick. That is not an easy kick on the road in a hostile environment in Regina. So to even see their special teams rolling in Edmonton, the way that they are going and making an ice-cold kick like that to win the game on the road, huge play. Let's talk about Cody Fajardo. He is smack dab right in the middle of the MOP race, especially with this game this past week. He has just been so consistent, Mr. Reliable. He avoids the big mistakes and is able to continue to make big plays whenever his team needs him. He continues to show up in the biggest moments. Cody Fajardo, you're balling out right now, and you can just see the belief and the confidence that the team has around him, the way that they continue to rally around him. It felt like watching this game, it was like a West final. It was that level of intensity, the players playing through the whistle, making big plays on both sides of the ball. And Sask, even though they don't pull this game out, they were winning late and they still feel like a top team in the league. And again, it really just came down to the last possession in this football game. I'm looking forward to seeing these two teams run it back again next week. Jumping over to Friday, like I said, I was at this game. Calgary went to Winnipeg. Calgary put it on them. It was 52-30 was the final score. And watching this game, it just felt like everything that could go wrong for Winnipeg did go wrong. And then Calgary on the other side of things was able to capitalize on these opportunities. You have Sergio missing a field goal, and Calgary returns it. Tariq McAllister with the kick 6. He has been electric this year. So they get the kick 6. Winnipeg gets a punt blocked. Drew Brown throws 4 interceptions. It was just like everything that could go. They blow a coverage. Tariq McAllister once again wide open down the middle of the field for an easy touchdown. Phil Potts breaking 4 or 5 tackles on the way to a huge touchdown run and catch. It just felt like everything that could go against Winnipeg did, and Calgary was right there to capitalize every single time. We talked about Tariq McAllister and how electric he was in this game. He had a receiving touchdown, a rushing touchdown on the first drive of the game, and then he had that return touchdown on the kick 6. He is so versatile. We've seen him be so dynamic in the kick game, but now seeing Calgary start to incorporate him as a more focal part of their offense, both receiving the ball out of the backfield, handing it off, and then still being their primetime returner. He's looking like he's having a breakout season. He is having an all-star caliber season. Looks like special teams player of the year so far. Big play VA. He has the most touchdowns without an interception in CFL history. And again, you talk about Cody Fajardo being smack dab in the middle of the MOP race. Big Play VA is putting his name right in the middle of that race as well. He's leading that football team. He has been so consistent. We've said it time and time again. If he can continue to take care of the football, this is going to be a very, very dangerous team down the stretch, and we're already seeing them start to hit their stride. They lost a couple tough games in Montreal. We all saw those were tough games against, again, Montreal being one of the best teams in the league, but Calgary, they look like they can make a push in the West. Brady Oliveira, looking at Winnipeg, he had one of his best games of the season. Goes for over 100 on the ground, has that long touchdown at the end of the third quarter, and then he just doesn't see the ball again. So if you're Winnipeg, you're looking at offensive identity. Where do we go from here? Well, that's a big piece that's working for you and just haven't really got him going the way that we've seen in years past. I think if you're Winnipeg looking to get a win at home this week against BC, you got to get Brady involved in the running game, and you got to stick with it. Just because you're down 2 scores in the fourth quarter, that's still very manageable. You can still run the game in that situation. So let's see Brady Oliveira get more involved in that offense. Doesn't matter if Drew Brown's playing. Doesn't matter if Zach comes back. You paid that guy to be the highest paid running back in the league. You got to ride him a little bit. So Winnipeg, they're going to need to win these next 2 games to continue to be a contender in the West because they got BC and Ottawa, and then they go through a gauntlet of some tough games in the West. They're playing Edmonton. They're playing Sask back-to-back. They get Montreal. So going and getting these next 2 wins is going to be crucial to keep your name in that West playoff race, again, going down the stretch of the season. And Calgary, they go to 3-4. Winnipeg drops to 4-3. Calgary is right there. They're going to be able to make a push in the West to at least not be that crossover team, because crossover teams have over the course of time has had some tough times moving over into the East, as you saw with Winnipeg last year going to Montreal and losing in the first round. Saturday, we had Toronto at BC, the 2 World Cup teams. BC finally gets a home game. Toronto pulls it out 26-12. And we've talked about it time and time again, but depth in quarterback. Depth at the quarterback position is paramount in the CFL. Chad Kelly goes down. Arbuckle goes in. He is one of the most established backups in the league, has so much experience, led them to a Grey Cup a couple years ago. So you feel very good if you're the Toronto Argonauts and Nick Arbuckle has to go in and play for you guys. You're in a great position. Chad Kelly hurts his neck on a slide. It's kind of a late hit. Didn't love the penalty, but things happen in a football game. You wish that doesn't happen. You wish you could eliminate that from the game. I hope he's going to be okay. Chase Bryce, he didn't play awful, but just left too much out there, right? They had some corner balls. There was a corner in the end zone at the end of the first half that they missed, a corner on 3rd and 2 that was man coverage they missed, and they just could not convert on 2nd down. That's your money down. You got to stay on the field. So unfortunate situation for him getting his first start. They end up pulling him at the end of the 3rd quarter, going into the 4th. They turned to Caden Salter, who he really did give him a spark. You could see the mobility. And when you talk about a young quarterback who doesn't have a ton of experience, to me, having mobility is such a benefit, because if you're not seeing things as clearly as maybe a veteran can, things are moving a little bit fast, having the ability to extend plays with your legs and go generate a couple first downs and stay on the field is huge. And you saw that from Salter when he went in the game. So I like the spark you gave him. If you're BC, you got a decision to make, but I think you probably roll with Salter this week if Nathan Rourke's not back, because he's shown the ability to at least extend plays, and they were able to move the ball a little bit in the 4th quarter when he ended up going in there. If you're BC, though, no matter who's playing quarterback, even if Nathan Rourke's back, you have to try to get James Butler going. They just have not stayed committed to the run game. I thought they were going to get him going in the first half. You could see him kind of running the ball, but they just have not been committed to that this year. That takes so much pressure off the quarterback. Doesn't matter if it's Nathan Rourke, doesn't matter who it is. Getting that running game going is going to slow the game down for your defense and help them, and also help any quarterback that's out there for you guys. Toronto, looking at them, such an explosive offense. Obviously, they were kind of just in like control the game mode, because it was clear that BC wasn't moving the ball. So they weren't really pushing the ball down the field too much. But man, looking at this receiving core, I tweeted this out earlier this week, but it's looking like one of the best in the league. I mean, you've got Polk, who's leading the league in touchdowns. He had another 2 this weekend. Unger, Mittal, Hicks, Common. Top to bottom, that is probably the best starting 5 in the CFL right now. They just have so many weapons, and they spread the ball around, and when the ball is in their receivers' hands, they seem to make plays. Now we need a little bit of better situational awareness at the end of the second half there. They catch the ball inbound. I think it was Unger, goes down, isn't able to get in the end zone. They run out of time. They capitalized on that in Sask, but a similar thing happened. Chad Kelly rolls out to the right, throws it back across his body, completion into the end zone. But if they would have got tackled in bounds, they wouldn't have got points on that drive either. So being able to hammer that situational awareness as a team is going to be important. So Toronto, they looked good against BC, end up getting the win. They're going to need to keep rolling to stay in that East race. Sunday, last game of the weekend, we had Hamilton going to Montreal. Montreal pulls it out 31-18, and they found a way to get it done. That's what great teams do. They find a way to get it done even when you don't have your A game. And I think watching that game, you could see they didn't have their A game. It wasn't Davis Alexander's best game. His interception streak comes to an end. That wasn't a bad play. Kind of rolling out, throws one up, and defensive back makes a play. It was bound to happen. You have over 350 pass attempts without a pick. You're bound to throw one at some point. But what I love about Montreal is riding Travis Tice. He's a workhorse. He goes for 156 and a touchdown and closes out that game late. He's dragging defenders, showing that South Dakota Coyote grit. Go Yotes, baby. Travis Tice was balling out on Sunday night to help Montreal go ahead and get that win. Seeing Cole Speaker getting back involved with their lineup. He was their leading receiver, and I think like 50 of his receiving yards came on yak, breaking tackles, some of those quick screens that they love. Just good to see him getting back involved in that offense because he is a key piece if they want to continue to stay as explosive as they have been. Montreal's defense, they were able to take the ball away. They played pretty stout throughout the evening, and they held Hamilton to less than 250 yards. They came up with the big pick at the end of the game to kind of seal the game there. Montreal, their special teams really needs to tighten up, though. They've given up way too many return touchdowns this season. They get the block punt, which was huge in the second half. Jose Maltos Diaz, he's been great this year, makes another clutch kick later in the game to go ahead and put him up 2. And he's played great football, but in terms of their coverage units, they got to tighten up a little bit because too many return touchdowns are being scored against them. If you're looking at Hamilton, just got to get back on track on offense. This looked like a totally different offense than we saw last week against Toronto. Their defense played solid and was able to keep them in the game, but it just felt like kind of a matter of time at the end. You just kept giving Montreal positions. You knew they were going to go get a score at some point, and they're going to need to figure out offensively what they're doing if they want to be able to compete in the West, specifically for second. I mean, I think we're all looking at Montreal like if everything stays the way it is, they're going to win the East, but Hamilton got to stay in it for second in the West, and to do that, they're going to have to get their offense rolling. And if I'm looking at it, it's like we got to get Trey Ford some design runs. We got to get him out of the pocket. That's what he does best. You can steal first downs by using his legs. If I'm Hamilton looking at how I can get my offense going, that's probably the number one thing I'm going to go to the drawing board with. All right, it's time. The most prestigious award in CFL regular season history, the SEEIN Award. You guys probably know where this is going. He had 78% completion, 510 yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, on the road in enemy territory against his former team, the defending Grey Cup champions. The run game was obsolete. He puts the team on his back and said, guys, we are a championship level team. We are here to stay. We are a team to be taken seriously. Cody Fajardo, you are leading that team. You're shifting the culture in Edmonton. You're shifting the culture in that whole organization. You're getting that fan base back engaged with the team. Keep doing what you're doing because you guys look like a real Grey Cup contender this season. Let's look ahead to next week in the CFL. Thursday, we're kicking off things. BC going to Winnipeg. BC is searching for answers offensively. What's going to happen at quarterback? Is Nathan Rourke coming back? I think their sense of urgency has to be at an all-time high to try to get him back out on the field. Obviously, within reason, he's going to be their guy for years to come. Don't want to put him in a bad position, but if you're BC, there has never been more of a must-win game. If you go lose this game, you're probably not going to make the playoffs. Winnipeg, you're coming off of giving up a 50 burger at home. You got to go home and dominate. You got to get your fans back engaged. That's not the performance you want to put on in front of your home crowd. So go home, go make a statement, whether it's Zach or Drew. They got to get back on track at home and win these next 2 games. So that way, when they go into their gauntlet, if they're not able to go ahead and sweep, they're still in a good position to make the playoffs in the West. Feels like BC might be slipping out of the playoff picture in the West, but if they can go get one, at least they've got a pulse. Friday, Montreal is going to Ottawa. Ottawa's coming off a bye. They're going to be well rested. We can all see they're better than 0-6, but man, they desperately need a win. Montreal's still the team to beat in the East. This is a David versus Goliath type of game. It's going to be a tough one for Ottawa, but if they want to get a win, they need to get takeaways on defense. They need to generate a big one on special teams, whether that's a return. We just talked about Montreal special teams struggling. Get a blocked punt, whatever that may be. You got to generate a game-changing play, and you have to establish a run game. That's something they haven't done all year. If you're Ottawa and you want to get a win, to me, those are your keys to the football game. Saturday, we got Calgary going to Hamilton. Calgary's coming off a huge win last week at Winnipeg, moving to 3-4, staying right in the thick of the West. They put 52 on Winnipeg. Their offense continues to look explosive. VA, is he going to continue that no interception streak? He's at 270 attempts without an interception, just broke the CFL record for touchdowns without a pick. They are dangerous if he can continue to control the football and take care of things. Hamilton, they might have trouble moving the ball in this Calgary defense. Montreal's defense is solid, but Calgary's defense looks really, really stout, and their defensive line is nasty. So Hamilton's going to need to find a way to generate yards and explosives on offense. And again, I think getting Trey Ford involved in the running game is going to be a key piece of that, finding unique ways to generate first downs using his legs and extending plays and play to his strength as a quarterback. Finally, the game I'm looking forward to most, Sask is going to Edmonton, so we're running it back. This time, Sask is going on the road. It's a replay of last week's game of the week, and it's going to be an awesome matchup, like I said. Edmonton fans, this is a message for you. Get out and pack that stadium. You guys have a big stadium, Commonwealth. That team looks like the best team in the CFL right now. Let's get behind that football team. This league, the CFL, is better when those fans are cheering on the Edmonton Elks. I want to see you guys get in that stadium and give that team a real home field advantage. That's something they haven't had in so many years. Get out there, get loud, and help your team show that they are the team to beat in the West by taking down the defending Grey Cup champs 2 weeks in a row. Edmonton, show up and show out. Guys, I love this league. Thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And as always, that's how you see it like Strev.